The excitement keeps coming, and believe me, this could be a 20 episode season because there's no games that we can miss out, and this one, seriously, is as big as it gets, facing two European giants, one in Europe itself, and secondly, in the FA Cup, a massive, massive episode, and it doesn't even involve the Premier League, it just shows how big the episode is. Hello there everyone, and welcome to part 15 of our Liverpool Football Club beta save on Football Manager 2020, and today it is time to come back to Anfield in light of our first leg Champions League quarter-final match against Real Madrid. Today, as I've just said, we come back to Anfield for the first match of the day, followed by the FA Cup semi-final against Man City. But even though the Prem's not involved today, we have a massive story, and it's very good for us because the Premier League title race is wide back open between ourselves and Man City. You'll notice they are 1 point ahead with a game in hand. That means that they are technically 4 points clear if they do beat Bournemouth. In fact, that match is tonight. So I'm really hoping Bournemouth help us out by restricting Man City to a point at least. But last weekend, it was massive. The 3 o'clock games were huge. We made sure that loss against Aston Villa, our last loss, of course, in the league, was completely forgotten. Firmino missed an early penalty, but after that, it was a complete rout. 5 goals for us. Villa did get the one back, fair enough to them, but it was 5-1. It was a dominated performance, that 4-2-2 formation. But Chelsea beat Man City by 3 goals to 2. City were ahead first off, but 2 quick-fire goals from Chelsea put them ahead. Sterling counted that out. My Kidsirich. But Andreas Christensen, the most unlikely of sources, made it 3-2 and put Chelsea 3 points better. And Man City lost their first game since they lost to us home and away, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, and just blows this title race back open again after our sloppy draw against Wolves. And we'll have to see how they get on against Bournemouth tonight. But that is going to be a very interesting match. But first, turning our attention to the Champions League. Of course, it was a 1-1 draw. Sorry, pardon me. A 1-1 draw away at the Bernabeu, which means a 0-0 today would be more than enough for us to get to the semi-finals of the Champions League. But this is a huge match, followed, of course, by the FA Cup semi-final, which we'll be talking about a little bit later on. Well, I thought I'd show you the tactic for today, which is certainly not that. Yeah, I haven't done the tactic yet. Better go and do that. That's better. I was just getting too excited, clearly, to record the video. But this is our team for the match against Real Madrid. A pretty bog-standard team, really. Not much to mention, apart from the fact Mane is a little bit injured. He picked up a little bit of an injury earlier on in the week, I think. He hasn't been out for too long. He's just lacking match sharpness, over a little bit of a niggle. And it's Alex Teixeira who starts on the left wing. And also, Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to be out for a few weeks, unfortunately. 3 or 4 weeks, that's a real shame. Out with a groin strain. As you can see, Shaqiri's a little bit injured as well. Klein's out as usual, and Mane is out with a twisted ankle. So really, apart from that problem with Mane, it's a normal team, really. We would have Oxlade-Chamberlain there, preferably, but James Milner takes that space as the solid man. It's going to be an interesting match. Already, Paris Saint-Germain have beaten Inter Milan 2-1. PSG went 3-1. And Barcelona are also out. Juventus won on aggregate and away goals by scoring 2 goals at Barcelona. 3 goals even. Blimey, 3 goals at the Nou Camp, despite Barcelona actually beating them when they were... No, hang on. That doesn't make any sense, unless that second game was at the Nou Camp. Yeah, right. The second game was at... No, the first... Yeah, scrap that completely. Juventus scored 3 at the Nou Camp. That's all that matters. We're looking at Liverpool against Real Madrid. It's a massive game. They dominated us, really, at Anfield. I hate to say. We weren't very good at Anfield, at the Bernabeu. I don't know what I'm doing today. Must have had too much to drink last night, too much squash. But there you go. This will be a very interesting episode starting off with this match. And make sure to leave a like down below if you enjoy it. Just always help out with the algorithm, etc., etc. Get my videos further up the tree. But a very, very solid Real Madrid squad to come to Anfield. Of course, we haven't lost Anfield so far this year. Well, it's going to be the hardest game left of the season, I think, to come to Anfield, definitely. I mean, obviously, we've got, I think, Arsenal are possibly coming to Anfield. But apart from that, it is definitely the hardest game. I mean, comparing Arsenal to Real Madrid, of course, Real Madrid is the hardest game to come to this stadium. We'll have to see how we get on, but the first 10 minutes don't look too badly at all. Again, Real Madrid are really dominating these first 10 minutes. That's not much of a surprise. They're a very dominating side, as they were at the Bernabeu. So, what we're going to do really is restrict them to a 0-0, fingers crossed today. And if they score, we just have to go attacking, don't we? That's really all we have to do. But first things first, we want to make sure we avoid them scoring a goal. If we can get one on the table nice and quick, that'd be great. But of course, Real Madrid are the team away from home today. So 2 or 3 goals would really damage us. And of course, that means we then have to win the match. But a lovely punt away from Virgil van Dijk. We've got Firmino up front. I think he'll struggle up front by himself, but he runs through. Oh, he runs through the defence. He did so well there until the finish, which is what happens so often on FM20. And we missed that, but Salah into Van Dijk. Van Dijk again, and luckily for Real Madrid anyway, they get it away and it was offside, so they were okay. We're looking good here. We've had a few chances, which is nice to see so far. Is this another chance coming? Or is it a Real Madrid counter-attack? We'll soon know. Milner on the ball. Lovely ball out wide to Alexander-Arnold. Back inside to Salah. Back to Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold can't beat Marcelo, but that's a nasty challenge by Marcelo. Could this change? He went in late. Is it going to be a yellow or is it going to be a red? Could this change the game massively? The referee's going to go over to the left back. And he's off! Marcelo is off. 15 minutes in here, and Real Madrid are down to 10 men. Gareth Bale off the pitch. That is huge. And Real Madrid have to go into a 4-1-2-1-2. A 4-1-2-1-1, really, because obviously the man's been sent off. But that is huge. Looks like Napoli are going to go through against Atletico Madrid. They're 4-0 up on aggregate. Remember, of course, they scored 2 goals at Atletico after they went down to 9 men. But this is great for us. They're down to 10 men. Their domination is going to be quashed now, I would say. Let's see if we can make that up with a goal. And that is a decent clearance. But there's a foul being given. There's a foul being given on Texera. And the referee, Dennis Aitken, is going over to the VAR stand. Is this going to be a penalty for us? If so, we want to make sure the right man's taking it. He's gone over to the VAR stand. We're looking. What's going on here? Zidane is as well. Is we going to get a penalty or not? Is he going to overrule his decision? Ooh, this is taking a long time. Referee rules, no penalty. Well, he'd given a penalty and there was... it was overruled. But as I said, it didn't look like the most aggressive of challenges. Seemed like the ball went out of play, so I don't mind that too much. But nearly at half-time, and this is exactly what we need to get to the semi-final of the Champions League. No doubt we are the favourites now to get through because they are a man down. But, yeah, they're a man down, but don't let your performance levels drop. That is exactly, I think, what is perfect to say. They've changed their formation. No, they haven't. That's a lie. They're exactly the same as they were before. Might have had some different mentalities, though. But 13 fouls from Real Madrid. It has to be said that that might perhaps be after they've gone down to 10 men. But a very aggressive showing from Real Madrid today. Interesting to see. But an hour in, we are doing well at the moment. But, of course, a Real Madrid goal. That's what we're all forgetting. One Real Madrid goal, and we'll be out of the Champions League. So we've just got to bear in mind we don't get too complacent and hopefully get on one ourselves before they do. Good stuff from Robertson. Through to Texera. Through to Firmino. 1-1 with the keeper. Very good defence from Sergio Ramos. Throws himself in front of the shot. And that is very nice to see. Now, I'd like 2 men up front because I think Firmino is struggling a little bit up there. But I don't want to change our formation. I think we've got to have that one defensive man. The other formation we've got, we don't have a defensive midfielder. It's really against sides that we want to exploit, the lower sides in the Premier League. Real Madrid definitely aren't one of them. They are one of the best sides in the world. And I think going 2 attacking against them would be a real risk. We could get a goal, but at the same time, they could get 3 or 4. And of course, that can completely finish us off. But at the moment, we are looking good. We're going to bring Milner off for Henderson, as I thought. Actually, no, we're going to bring Caitron for creativity, I think. And we're also going to... We'll bring Firmino off for Divock Origi. Put him as a complete forward. Change things around a little bit. See whether Origi can what's the word? Emulate, that's the one. Emulate his heroics from last year's Champions League semi-final. Him and Wijnaldum are both on the pitch, so that is the perfect time. I mean, 15 minutes to go, we have a corner. Salah into Matip just over the bar. But as I said, a 0-0 is all we need. Funnily enough, it'd be exactly the same as our 2 results against Bayern Munich. Nothing flashy, but if we can get this, we are in to the last 4 of the Champions League. For the 3rd year in a row, of course. It'd be 3 finals in a row if we made it this year. We're going to bring Trent Alexander-Arnold off for Joe Gomez. Again, he's got a yellow card. Don't want to risk him getting a red. But with 5 minutes to go, things look good here. But what we've certainly learned from the Wolves game last time out is do not count anything out until the final whistle. 4 minutes of added time. We're going to get any highlights. Quite a boring game, I do appreciate. But is it going to be enough? Yes, it's full time. Get it in. That's all we needed. I said we needed a 0-0, and that's all we needed. Real Madrid are out of the Champions League. We are through to the semi-final of the Champions League. Again, it wasn't flashy. It wasn't interesting, arguably, but it's enough. It's enough to get us into the semi-final of the Champions League with an unlocked achievement for top form. I don't know if you can see my screen, but we haven't lost in 30 matches. That is mightily impressive. Of course, the last match we lost was that match against Villa in the Premier League. But look at that. we've drawn Napoli in the Champions League semi-final. I have to say, yes, Napoli did beat Atletico, but that is definitely the better side of the draw. You look, Juventus or PSG, I wouldn't want to face them. But our Champions League, it continues. The glory can continue. We're in the semi-final of the Champions League. So this is what the final sort of schedule will look like for the end of the season. Of course, if we get to the final of the Champions League, that will take place at the end of the season, same as the FA Cup final would. So this is really the run now until the end of the season. We've got the FA Cup semi-final, which I'll show in a minute. We've got 2 games against Burnley and Newcastle, must win. And then we've got a late Merseyside derby against Everton. And really, all of these 3 games in the Premier League in May could be a real struggle. Bournemouth, I don't think they've got anything to play for, but yeah, they're going to be a struggle nonetheless. And Arsenal, perhaps on the last day, might well still be fighting for a top 4 place. It's mightily close between Arsenal, Man United, Tottenham and Chelsea. I mean, if Arsenal and Man United win their games in hand... City won 3-0. That's a little bit of a shame. But still, 4 points in 5 games. It could happen. If we get all 15 points, who knows what might happen. But yeah, if Arsenal and Man United win their games in hand... Arsenal, of course, will be on the same amount of points as Tottenham and Chelsea, will actually leapfrog them to go up to 3rd, and United will only be 2 points behind. So that's going to be massively close. But before we focus on the Premier League in tomorrow's episode, let's go and see if we can beat City for the 4th time this season in the FA Cup semi-final. We're on the brink of our first serious final of the season, and admittedly, it's not been that hard to get here, but let's have a look how we have got to the FA Cup semi-final. So, the first of 2 televised rounds was against Huddersfield on Saturday the 4th of January. We're 3.5 months later now, but we did beat them by 2-0. Put out a relatively young side. Again, the FA Cup, particularly at that point of the season, wasn't really a priority to us. We carried on our 2-0 streak. With a match against Burnley, again, didn't really play many of the experienced lads. You'll notice there's a few youngsters in there. And then we started to take things a little bit more seriously, even though we did play still the youngsters. And, of course, Adrian's played every game in the FA Cup, which will continue in today's match against Manchester City. Again, another bit of a younger side. We did have to go to extra time against Bournemouth, which certainly wasn't ideal, but we came out of that 2-1 victors, courtesy of a Xherdan Shaqiri goal. And finally, in the home game we had against Watford, despite Gerard Deulofeu making it 2-1, they didn't bounce back anymore, and due to an early goal from Chiravella and Divock Origi yet in a second, we did beat Watford, which puts us in this position. We go to Wembley for the FA Cup semi-final. Of course, we have 3 wins out of 3 against Man City so far this season. Repeating that result in the Premier League would be great at 4-1, but equally a 1-0 would certainly do. And let's see if we can get through to the the grand final of this competition, which will be against either Everton or Arsenal. So you'd argue that this semi-final is probably going to be harder than the match against whoever we play next. But I've just changed Adrian into goal, because admittedly I hadn't got him into goal earlier. But Adrian starts. We've got a full-strength squad. The only change apart from Adrian is the fact that Henderson comes into the midfield to replace Milner. And actually, I am going to put Shaqiri on the wing rather than Texera, because to be fair to Shaqiri, he's done very well when he's played in this competition. You'll see Mane is still not up to full fitness, so not going to risk playing him. But apart from that, pretty much a full-strength squad. Again, it's a semi-final of an FA Cup. The board want us to reach a final. I think it'd be brilliant to win our first proper trophy, because really the 3 trophies we won before, even though the Club World Cup was very nice, especially the Community Shield and the Super Cup, are really Mickey Mouse trophies. Again, brilliant trophies to win. But this is the first serious trophy, the first trophy we'll have really had to work for. It's a full-strength Man City squad. Not surprised to see that, apart from the fact that Brad Guzan starts in goal. Brad Guzan for Man City. And he's quite literally been signed. I love that. He's quite literally been signed as a cup goalkeeper. I like that new feature in FM. Of course, the 35-year-old, plenty of experience. But I wouldn't say not the sharpest pair of hands at the back, but we'll have to see how he gets on. You watch. He has the game of his life today. And we've just told the lads we deserve to be in the final. We've played well throughout this competition. And we expect to make that happen. And of course, we are really the favourites, and that's the problem. Man City are really the underdogs here, because we've beat them 3 times so far this season. Of course, Man City's still the top of the table, but this will give us a confidence boost. Potentially, it could give us a good momentum boost to go towards the end of the season. If City do lose this game, I know it's only the FA Cup, but City will have then lost 2 games in 3. Of course, we haven't lost in the FA Cup, and that's a silly statement to make. We've been very good in the FA Cup so far. And hopefully, as I said, that continues today. We are making a few fouls, but the stay on feet instruction is still on. And Andy Robertson does pick up his 13th yellow card of the season. I think tensions will run high in this fixture, because the 2 teams are the biggest teams in the Premier League now. And you watch, David Silva's picked up a knock. That's not great for him or for Man City. But one compliment you have to pay to the Man City side above many is the fact that they have plenty of depth on the bench. First highlight, though, coming 40 minutes in. Are we going to have our first goal? Potentially Otamendi puts it out wide to Bernardo Silva. Shaqiri running after him in defensive capacity, but he passes it back to Walker. Shaqiri doing well there and still putting the pressure on Kyle Walker. But Kyle Walker finally beats Shaqiri, puts it into the box for Raheem Sterling, and it's a goal for Man City. A little bit poorly defended by our lads. We're going to demand more from that, and really, obviously, it's his former club, Raheem Sterling. I'm not too bothered about that. But City got past our right wing far too easily then. Kyle Walker, I mean, it was Shaqiri against him. By right, Shaqiri shouldn't have been that far back. Walker beats him with a brilliant run for pace. And a bit of a fumble, the fact that whoever this is, I think it's Matip because the wrong way. But still, very poor there. And we are going to go attacking for the rest of the half. Just seeing this last 5 minutes whether we can get an equaliser before the second half starts. We'll have to see how we get on. And the first goal of the episode after a 0-0 against Real Madrid. But I'm not happy with that at all. We didn't really play well, and we expect to see a better showing in the second half. Again, our defending's not been too bad, but we haven't really offered anything in the attacking department. So we're going to have to do that this half more than anything. But first 10 minutes, nothing really going on. So we might have to try and make a change. If nothing changes, potentially in this highlight. Could well be 2-0 to Man City. Who knows? They've certainly been better teams so far, it seems, in terms of chance creation. And oh my goodness me, that was very nearly a sloppy goal for Man City there. Very, very nearly. I think we're going to go all out here. I think we're going to go for this formation of the 4-2-2. A bit more of attacking depth. We've said before that we just need that bit more attacking depth sometimes to get us through. Fabinho, yeah, he's the perfect player to bring off. He's the one who's most tired out of everybody. We're also going to bring Salah off as well for... we'll bring Mane on. Again, he's not up to full match fitness, but it did say he could play 75 minutes. So I think putting him on that left wing isn't going to be too much of a risk in this aspect. But we're going to tell the lads... show some passion. We're going to go attacking and see how it goes. Again, we've got nothing to lose. I know it's a very attacking formation, but as I said, we've got nothing to lose. We've got to go for this. And if City keep it like this, they're going to beat us for the first time this season and knock us out of the FA Cup before the final, which would be a real shame. But we've just not showed anything really so far. Again, we can't tell anything to the lads at the moment, but 20 minutes to go. This is getting a little bit unnerving there. The fact that we haven't really offered anything all day, let's be honest, and that we could be out of the FA Cup. We're not going to go for distribute over opposition defence just yet. I think it's a little bit too early to start doing that, but we have to see if a highlight does come now. Seems Andy Robertson is tired, so we might have to substitute him at some point. But this is not looking good. It's a City chance, and it's 2-0 to City. Well, that is not good enough. We're going to bring Andy Robertson off because this isn't our main priority, this competition. And if he gets injured, then that's going to be a real problem. Left back really is the position we've got the least depth in. It says the result will be beyond doubt now. And looks like it will be. Looks like City will get their first win against of the season, which is a real shame to see. But at the moment, it doesn't seem we can do a fat lot about it. But we're going to try our best. We're going to go for it. That's all we can do. And been a little bit disappointed to see from the lads today, admittedly. Not great. But sometimes, what can you do? What can you do about it? I'm going to put you to a box-to-box. You can be a defending wing-back. We don't really want you to be attacking because you're no good as that. Ball-playing defender, I think, for both of these now. Just trying to push the ball up a little bit further. And that's all we really can do, to be honest. We've not really got much defensive depth, but we're already 2-0 down. So it's no good to do that. We're going to tell the lads just to push forward. It's an obvious statement to make at this point. But a few lads fired up by the feedback. But it looks like with 10 minutes to go, that nothing's really going to change. I'm disappointed to see. I really am disappointed that we've showed no fight against a Man City side that we have done very well against this year, but looks like it's going to be our first defeat since the game against Aston Villa. I mean, that's a long run, 30 games unbeaten. We just about made it to 30 games, but seems today, unfortunately, we're going to be out of the FA Cup, and that is a real shame. Well, Man City beat us 2-0. I'm not happy with that. That's not great for momentum. I tell the lads we're training tomorrow, and that is a real disappointment. Really wanted to make it to the FA Cup semi-final, win a domestic cup, or at least get to the final, and that is really disappointing to see, particularly as kind of the mind games take hold in the late stage of the season, but whatever, it's one less game to play in the season. So we are out in the semi-final. The board, no doubt, is going to be a little bit gutted with that, I think, because, yeah, we failed our objective ultimately. So, yeah, they can understand the team had a difficult draw, so that's not too bad, I suppose. But we've got two objectives now, two competitions. They want us to reach the semi-final of the Champions League, which we have done, and win the Premier League, which is a very, very tricky one to do. But it's going to be a titanic end to the season. Gutted, though, about that FA Cup. I know I said it wasn't a big competition, but it's never nice to go out of a competition. And our first loss, as I've just said, since that loss against Aston Villa, that big unbeaten run does come to an end. Hopefully, that won't affect us But in the next episode, we will have the first leg of the Napoli match, followed by the match against Everton. And then really, it's just simple. All of those games after that will be matches that are televised, matches that are on camera, because you just can't miss any of them. There's 5 games to go in the Premier League. One of the games, obviously, next time out will be in the Champions League. I think that we'll do okay in these next 2. Burnley looking very good, actually, in 7th place. Didn't realise they were that far up. So they have got something to play for. Newcastle also got something to play for as well, but their relegation hopes look pretty dim. Looks like they might well go down, which is a real shame. But a team of our stature wanting to win the league has to pick up 15 points. If we look at Man City's run till the end of the year, who have they got in the interim between episodes? Let's find out. They've got Manchester United, that's a huge game, and Leicester. To be fair, they could lose both of those, and I really hope they do. So by the time we get to the next episode, who knows, there could be a new name on the top of the Premier League. But then they've got Newcastle, Everton and West Ham, so not an easy run for them as well. The same as us, we haven't got an easy run, but certainly in those next 2 matches, City have got it very hard. And they need to pick up, well, how much they... Well, they haven't got a game in hand now. They've got 4 points. Is their lead. So if we win both of those games and City only get 2 draws, they'll be level on points with them going into the last 3 games. That is going to be Titanic, and that, hopefully that's exactly what happens. I mean, hopefully City lose both of those games. It's the perfect result for us. We'll have to see how we get on. It's a real Titanic battle. It might be all over by the time you see me next, but you have to find out. Champions League semi-final, Premier League standoff. What's more to love? There's nothing better than this, really. It's end of the season, and probably 2 or 3 episodes now to the end of the season. Hopefully you will stick around until then. And if you want to, of course, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Like if you enjoyed, that really helps the video, as I said earlier. Get up the search and more of you guys to watch the video. And also comment your thoughts as well. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Napoli and Everton games. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.